not. Thank you for joining me for Tao of the Day. Hello, this is Martin John, and I am here to talk about Chapter 10. I suppose I thought that this was already going off, but no. So here we are, Chapter 10, Authentic Action. What we're talking about here is really awareness. So I want you guys to look at all this from the standpoint of awareness, and we'll see where it takes us. Can you control your mind so it doesn't wander? Can you control your body so it doesn't wander? Can you endorse all that you do? Can you love everyone so as to inspire them? Can you do all this without interfering and remain unknown? Can you leave behind knowing and open yourself to understanding? Can you be like Tao and give birth without possessing? Can you be like Tao and act without expecting? Can you be like Tao and lead without dominating? If so, it would be considered great. So I hope you can already see how this is really pointing to awareness. Can you control your mind so it doesn't wander? Like, are you aware of what your mind is doing? And can you just kind of bring it back? Can you bring it back to quiet? Can you bring it back so you don't start thinking about the future, so you don't start moving into what might happen, right? Like telling all those stories and doing all of that. Can you control your body so it doesn't wander? So can you control what you do and where you go? Or, like that has to do with like physical addiction, right? There's that mental addiction of just like telling stories about where we want to be, like desires and, what we want in the future, where we want to go, where we want to prove what we're going and all of that. Can you control your body so it doesn't wander? This idea of like physical addiction, like I want to go to this thing, I want to have, sex, I want to use drugs, I want to do all these things. Can you control your body? So this is like mental and physical like addictions that this is addressing, and this is entitled Authentic Action, Chapter 10. And it is all about awareness. It's about like, can you be aware of where you're going and what you're doing? It doesn't matter if your mind wanders and your body wanders, and that's all okay, but can you control it? Like in this moment right now for a little bit? Can you endorse all that you do? That's a big one. I love, I was interviewing someone and they referenced this idea of like endorsing what you do. Like that's such a beautiful thing. Like what do we endorse that we do? Can we endorse that we said this? Can we endorse that we did this? Like there are things in my life I can't endorse that I do, right? Like I might watch a show before bed and I might do these things. Like it might be little things, but I don't endorse them. I definitely wouldn't endorse them. They're embarrassing maybe, or this or that or whatever. But recognizing that I don't endorse them is a big deal, because once I recognize that I don't endorse it, it is, pardon me, once I recognize that I don't endorse it, I am in a state of having to be aware of that. I have to be aware of the idea that like, oh, there are things in my life that I'm not endorsing. There are things that I'm doing that I am under the influence of, that I'm not in control of, that it's not authentic, right? Because I don't endorse it. Like I may be doing it, but I'm doing it and I don't like that I'm doing it, and I'm not taking recognition. I'm not recognizing that I don't like that I do it. Can you do all this without interfering and remain unknown? Oh, wait. Can you endorse all that you... Can you love everyone so as to inspire them? That's a big one, right? Like, can you love someone so you inspire them rather than gaining something, right? It's not transactional. It's like, I want to inspire you. I want to love you in a way that inspires you to be who you are, inspires you to be authentic. Can you do all this without interfering and remain unknown? Can you do all this without having to get praise for it? Can you do all this without having to be, take credit? Can you just be you, love somebody? Can you just be you and endorse the actions that you take and the things that you do and the things that you say? Can you just do that without being like, look at how special I am? Right? Look, I love you so much. I did this and I did this and I did this and I did this and I'm being good and I'm this and I'm that. It's like, no, shut up. Just love people. You don't need credit. You want to take credit, well, then it's not love, right? Can you leave behind knowing and open yourself to understanding? That's a big deal, right? Like knowing and understanding. There's like that understanding is like deep within you. Knowing is cognitive knowledge, right? Like, so this is right, this is wrong. These are things. I know this is right. I understand why this happened, right? Like there's a different way of looking at it. And can you do that? Because so often we know what's right. We know what people should be doing. We know, and we run around and we try and change the world because we know it could be better. It's like, no. Do you understand this moment is separate from everything? Do you understand that nothing else exists but you? These are the things that we need to be able to separate. And this is, once again, all about awareness. Can you be aware that your ego is trying to tell you that you're right when you think that knowing is important? Can you be aware that your ego is trying to not be abandoned, which is why, you can't love somebody just to inspire them. You have to love somebody as a transactional interaction. Can you be like Tao and give birth without possessing? Can you be like Tao and act without expecting? Can you be like Tao and lead without dominating? Those three questions, once again, point to awareness. Can you do these things? Can you give birth without possessing? Can it be like, I have an idea and I'm going to see how it reacts in the world and how it lives in the world? I'm going to act without expecting anything in return. I'm going to lead without dominating somebody or without trying to tell people what they're doing and who they are. If so, it would be considered great. And that's how this ends, right? If so, it would be considered great. And so if you can do those things, it would be considered so great that if you can lead without dominating, if you can act without expecting, and if you can give birth without possessing, then you would just let the world be, and you would be authentically you, without fear, without trying to be something that you're not, without trying to step in and fill it all in for other people. You would be able to be who you are authentically. And that's number 10, authentic action. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Once again, I'm Martin John, and this series is all about the Tao Te Ching and through my translation. And I appreciate you listening and checking it out. Please leave comments if you'd like, and follow if you'd like. I mean, really, I'm not monetizing any of this stuff, so it's no big deal. You can do what you'd like. Love you guys. Until next time, keep recovering yourself.